Hello all my Kinvians and welcome to a brand new episode of Discovering Steven Universe. Today the episode I'm going to be watching is Crack the Whip. Watch! Not sure why I did that. I'm not awkward, you're awkward. Anyway, just based on the name, I'm going to assume that Amethyst is going to have something to do with this episode, since her weapon is the whip after all. I could be completely off base there, but I guess there's only one way to find out, and that is to watch this episode. I really hope, especially since it does seem to that it will continue to focus on the gems instead of the townies of Beach City, that you know, the main story plot might be pushed forward a bit more, and we'll continue to go along that route. But as I said before, there's only one way to find out, and that is to continue. So let's go.
I'm so sorry, Connie. Very irresponsible girl. Are you headed back north?
It's like, conceptually, I don't disagree with what Amethyst is saying, as far as like you can't like fully you don't really know what's going to happen during one of their battles. I mean, clearly I wouldn't know exactly, but I mean, you know, based on video game logic at least. Okay, conceptually I get it, but in execution, uh-oh. Oh, jeez. Well, it's another one of those things. Run, sour cream.
Two of them?
Oh, okay, yeah. I was gonna ask if they thought if they had been trained.
I've decided to build my own army. Well then, let's see it.
Oh no.
Just a joke.
Stefani! Okay, it kind of skipped on me there. Uh-oh.
Steven, Connie, I'm back. Everything's good. Wait to tell the others. Oh, good.
Hmm.
You didn't need me at all.
Oh no.
Begin to do something that does right by you. I would do about anything. I would even learn how to love.
Huh. Okay, so that had a lot more going on in it than I expected. To say the least. Wow. Okay, so Crack the Whip, I was correct in Amethyst was going to be there, but it makes sense that Amethyst isn't really trained per se, or maybe she is trained, she just doesn't care about it, or she doesn't like really keep up on it, perhaps in the same way that Pearl and Garnet do. If Garnet, I don't know. There's a lot to really unravel there, but I mean, Amethyst had worked through a lot of her issues with herself in the past, so with this coming up and Jasper just further pointing out that it was something that Peridot had pointed out before, but Amethyst and Jasper are similar, and actually Amethyst could have become a Jasper, maybe? But there was something defective about her from, and again, this is something that was hit on before, that she was, you know, very short, She was very different from the others who came from that kindergarten. But now Amethyst has that idea in her head that, you know, she's not needed. I mean, Steven and Connie infusing is like, Amethyst was completely out of the story there. It's like, you know, she had been taken out by Jasper, and then Steven and Connie were able to take care of the situation by themselves. And in that particular situation, yeah, they didn't need Amethyst to help in the fight. Which, I mean, it's true, again, in that particular instance, but while we, as the viewer, and Connie and Steven know that's like, that's not true in the grand scheme of things, and that, you know, Amethyst is part of their team. Saying that she's not needed is not accurate. So I'm curious to see how much that is going to affect Amethyst's attitude going forward, and perhaps how that little story arc on her end is going to resolve, hopefully in a positive way, and hopefully with her kicking Jasper's butt. But yeah, it was just very a mixed bag emotionally, but at the same time just completely unexpected. I did not expect to see Jasper and those corrupted gems reappear. Now obviously they've got one of them recaptured, at least I think so. I couldn't see if I don't think Jasper retook one of the gems, or the one that they did poof. But she did take back the corrupted gem that she was riding at the time. But she seems to control those corrupted gems through fear, and as a way of training them. So I guess I wasn't... Well, she definitely is getting crazier. So my assumptions from the previous episode were one of them was right in that regard. As far as maybe my worry of her trying to fuse with them, or my confusion of possibly trying to fuse with them, that was not correct, thankfully. Although that would have been really interesting to see. And then also, but as Jasper said at the end, Jaspers always keep going until they get what they want. And if Lapis is something that she wants, it seems kind of clear that she's going to keep pursuing that. But that does comment a bit more on my perspective of seeing Jasper as, like, you know, the emotional abuser. It's like the abuser in sort of like a domestic abuse situation here between her and Lapis. It's just like, that's just a very, that tunnel vision that, like, you know, I'm going to get what's rightfully mine no matter what. Just that perspective on it is just very dangerous and scary, to say the least. But yeah, all of that aside, it was great to see Stevonnie make a return. Stevonnie and Lion being an awesome matchup. I mean, against a gigantic corrupted monster and Jasper, being able to take them down. Like, that was just amazing. The music that was playing during the montage there of Amethyst getting Steven and Connie to sort of loosen up, I really enjoyed that. Oh, and kind of going back to what I was saying during the episode, but conceptually, Amethyst's view on things, that you got to keep loose. You have to, that yes, you can't prepare for everything yourself, just it shows no forward thinking as to the situation, but I don't know, I'm just trying to step into Amethyst's shoes. Don't agree with the step she took, and hopefully, as opposed to, it's like she isn't needed, I'm hoping that this can lead to some more personal growth on there. Will happen faster than, I guess you could say, her personal image issues. To focus on a bit more, please do comment. But yeah, I'm trying to remember, like, you know, to that. Well, first of all, thank every single one of you for being here in advance of when they will actually go public on the YouTube channel. So if that interests you at all, check that out. Again, link in the description down below and the end of this video. So, I am Papa Ken, and I will see you on the next episode of Discovering Steven Universe. Later days.